Hi guys, Honey here. In today's video, I will be talking about the macro guide. When people watch me in gameplay, the first thing that comes in mind is, whoa, his mechanics are crazy. While this is true, you don't see what's happening behind the scenes. Macro. My macro is actually better than my micro. The macro decisions I make and the micro that supports it makes me able to make crazy and clutch plays without any effort. There's a reason why I am the last person alive, or you don't see me down at all. I see a lot of people who are individually skilled, but lacking in a team setting. Of course, you don't need a high level of macro to finish the vanilla content, but if you want to start carrying people, doing hard-modded content, macro will be more relevant in your skill set. I hope in this video you can be more aware about it. But before we go into macro, I need to explain what a good macro is. It depends on the goal you want to achieve, but in most cases it will be the team stability. If the team dies, it's game over. I will be talking about two types of macro: team macro and individual macro. So let's get into the individual macro first. To make good decisions, you need to get the bigger picture of the situation. It sounds obvious, but why can't people get the bigger picture of the situation? GTFO is a fast-paced shooter, where you don't have a lot of time to think. This is why you can't get a read of the situation. So, how can you read the situation with limited time? To read the situation, there is one key component: tracking information. Alright, sounds good, but how do you track information? One concept to understand, it's called downtime. So, when do you have downtime? When you don't have anything to do. There are no enemies near you. This can vary from seconds to minutes. A lot of downtime exists in between in forms of seconds. Let me show you. Ooh, that's not good. That's very bad. This is the moment to scan for information and make the right decisions accordingly. Since the enemies are far away and the enemies on my right side hitting the door, I have enough time to do the scan and reload my gun. Now, even all of that, I even have time to place a mine on the door, as there's no enemies nearby me. There are enemies behind the door. After I place the mine, I see the enemies coming from my right side. Since the left side there are no enemies and only a shooter, it's safer to go to the left side to position myself. Here I wanted to kill the shooter while moving, but here quickly I noticed my sawed-off shotgun was empty in the clip, so I decided to kill it with the burst cannon. Now that I have downtime again and the information has changed, I need to regather information. As you can see, information changes quickly. And with downtime, you can gather information and update it. Think before you speak. That is basically applied here too. You want to get the information about the situation before you make decisions. What should you do when you have downtime? You want to know the direction of the enemy spawns and which type of wave it spawned. Strikers and chargers have a distinctive roar sound when they spawn in. Same for hybrids, shadows, tank and moms. You also want to check the pathing of the enemies. The current enemy estimate count that are alive, plus what type and where they are approximately. Being aware of your environment, like obstacles, walls, jumps you can make, the resources available, how much ammo, how much health, how much tool, what are you carrying, and any resource near you. If there's an error alarm, tracking error alarms timers by feeling. You could also do relevant microactions like reloading, checking bullets in your clip, checking your clip, checking your HP, check your total ammo, checking the scan direction, checking the scan positions, using ammo packs or medipacks, using your tool like biopings, placing a turret, using a mine for the door or foam, etc, etc. And there's many more to look for. As I said, you want the relevant information about the situation, and it differs per context. You don't want to overload yourself with information, as this will stunlock you or even take too long to make decisions. You need to be quick to scan for information, as you only have seconds to gather. Of course, this all takes practice, so don't get discouraged when you don't get it the first time. I will only talk about the basics for now. You should be aware of it at an individual level first. Later in the video, I will go deeper on a team level. I have mentioned this before in the micro guide, where you quickly look to get relevant information. This is the perfect moment to use the concept of quick look. Gathering information is just half the work. Making the correct decision is the next. Of course, there are multiple correct decisions. You should make decisions that are best for you. It is different per person, as everybody is different in skill levels. You need to analyze the threats with the information you have. You know what threats are to you once you get enough experience, making it easier to recognize them. You deal with the threats that have the highest probability of you dying. There are many threats that causes you to die. That means you have to prioritize the threats. Deal with the threats first that are most dangerous to you dying. This is the last set of scans. My total ammo is around 30% each. My sawed-off is not fully reloaded, and there are still some enemies left from the left side, and the most of the wave are killed here. With the information I have right now, the biggest problem I have is that I don't have enough ammo to deal with the next wave. I need to grab the ammo. After I grab the ammo, I hear two enemies near me, one striker on my left and a shooter right behind me. I also heard a wave spawning from the right side far, and I see the scan going out all the way in the back there. Since I have downtime here and I grab the ammo, it's in my best interest to fill myself with ammo right now. I also know that this scan is bad, because the enemies spawned close to the scan. Since this is the last set of scans, I'm willing to risk to finish the scan while the enemies are close to me. And since I have 64 HP, I can try to do this. I was checking my guns to make sure they were reloaded before I was finding the enemies. I quickly noticed that my burst cannon wasn't fully reloaded, so I decided to do the double jump reload or the obstacle to get the reload off on the scan. Be fucking screwed. Oh, the scan is bad too. Now that I'm doing the scan, I see enemies coming from two directions, left and right. Since there's only a few of them, I can rotate between the left and right while shooting. I shoot the one that are the closest to me first. And if I see more enemies coming that are clumped up, I have to leave the scan, as this is too much to handle. Now suddenly they came from 3 directions. There's no way I can hold this anymore. I gotta leave this scan. Since the left and the middle are closed off, it's better to make a jump here. as this is a safe area for me. I also know that the majority of the wave is here now, next to me. Yeah. Can I get down? Thank you. So after I jumped down, I didn't know what to do. So I was thinking of a plan how to do the scan as fast as possible. For now, my only option is to go to the back of this hallway. Thank you. I think... Here I realized I can stack the enemies up from one direction while waiting a little bit. If I see enough enemies coming up here, then it's time to go, as I know most of the enemies are coming from one direction. Most of the enemies should be coming left side, but they might come to the right side, so I will check on the right side occasionally. Alright, let's stop here. As you can see, I can make quick decisions within seconds. And so can you. With enough practice, you can do this. Here are some tips to make quick, accurate decisions. Immediately discard any decisions that don't work. Deal with the situation step by step, meaning breaking down a situation into smaller situation pieces. Think about win conditions in your situation. A lot of people tend to panic, tunnel vision, or get overwhelmed by making a decision. This is why you want a mindset that helps you focus. Think about it like this. You are solving a problem. In the end, this is just problem solving. I reminded you in the micro guide that you have 2 weapons you can play with. But I never told you when you actually start switching between the weapons. Now, I will go into it. In most cases, your main weapon is weaker than your special weapon. Unless you're the sound of shotgun. Anyways, generally you use your main weapon for small problems and your special weapon for bigger problems. It's important to know the breakpoints of each enemy with the weapon that you are playing. For example, I know with the Hellgun against a striker within the range, I need 1 headshot or 2 body shots to kill it. For chargers, I need 2 shots, 8 shots for giants or BBC. It's good to know, because your target switching will be faster. When fighting enemies, you should switch between 2 styles of shooting. Ammo efficient killing. In this style you are trying to aim for headshots, or killing enemies with the right amount of damage. You're also trying to get enemies within weapon range. This style of killing is slow, because you are taking more time to aim. One pro is that you are ammo efficient with killing. And you should only use this when you're fighting 1 to 2 enemies at a time. The biggest con is that the time to kill will be generally higher, as you need more time to kill the enemies. Fucking not fast TTK. You can be ammo efficient and killing fast at the same time, but in most cases it is not. You are aiming to kill fast as possible, regardless of the range or headshots. But it is better to wait till enemies get inside your effective weapon range. The most notable pro is that you aim for fast TTKs, meaning it's suited to fight multiple enemies in the moment. You don't care about the headshots or body shots as long you hit your shots. The biggest con is that your kills are not efficient, meaning your ammo economy will be bad. Alright, it's good to know those two styles, but what can I actually do with it and when do I use this? I'm glad you asked. When fighting enemies from one direction, there are usually 3 scenarios. Fighting 1 to 2 enemies at a time. Fighting 2 or more enemies at a time. Fighting different mixed enemies, usually 2 or more. When you're fighting 1 to 2 enemies, you want to be efficient with your ammo, because you can take more time getting headshots or landing your shots easier to be efficient. This is where the efficient killing style comes in play. When you're fighting 2 or more enemies, here you want to kill fast, so you avoid getting overrun quickly and prevent losing position. Here you want to use the fast killing style. You're fighting different mixed enemies. You have to switch to the right weapons at the right enemy. Otherwise, your killing speed will be slow and eventually you will lose your hold. You can either use a fast killing style or efficient killing style, depending on how many enemies there are. For the rest, it's up to you to figure out how to make fast kills or efficient kills. Each weapon is different and serves a different purpose. For example, this is not how you do it. Here, I should have switched to my combat shotgun, as it can handle a lot of enemies at the same time. This is not a weapon guide, but here are some strengths and weaknesses of each gun. Imagine, you are holding a wave with a hell gun. The enemies keep trickling in one by one. But at some point, a clump of enemies will approach you. And if you have to reload your hell gun at that point, you just made a big mistake. If you use all your firepower at every moment, at one point, you will be vulnerable. Don't get me wrong, you are always going to be vulnerable at some point. The point is not to be vulnerable at a bad time. The key is to be reloaded before you face a lot of enemies. That means you are going to do reloads in between. The best time is when it's only a few enemies and you have a lot of distance between you and enemy. You remember the downtime I talked about? It applies here. When you know your situation, you will always find a time to reload in between. You will always be ready with a near full of mag to deal with a lot of enemies. Don't hesitate to reload in between. This causes you to lose precious time. It's a good habit to get into reloading immediately after your shot. But remember to cancel your reload if you don't get it off, as I explained it in the micro guide. Under downtime, you should also be thinking about your tool usage, like mainly your bio or your sentry if you forgot to place it. Or you can find a plan to home and mine a door. I have touched this subject in my player advanced guide, but in this video I will talk about it a bit more. What is good positioning? It's very easy. It's about survival or making your shooting easier. To determine great positioning, you want the following conditions: having the enemies in front of you and no enemies behind you. Minimize the enemies coming from multiple angles, preferably 1 or 2, but it depends if it's only a few enemies. You are confident in holding until you get overwhelmed, meaning you don't fight 4 enemies at the same time. 2 to 3 max, but again, it depends on what gun you have. To make your shooting easier, use a narrow path. or a wall to make it narrow as possible. You also want a straight path, so you can see all the enemies clearly, but all of that is situational. So when do you retreat / reposition then? It's not necessarily bad to give up a holding position, unless you can't do it. In most scenarios, this is the right play. You are repositioning when your imported gun is not reloaded. There are too many enemies, meaning clumped up enemies or high threat enemies like a BBC or a boss. It doesn't matter if they are close range or mid range. I want to stress this out. You never want to give up a holding position or give ground for no reason. The point of holding a position is to at least trim the wave, unless you're in a bad position or there's no teammates near you, or you're gonna foam a door or mine it. The reason why you don't want to give up a position is because at some point you can't fall back anymore, or you are too spread out of your team. In some cases, you cannot give up ground because of objectives. Think about terminal blinks, hands-on on a room scan, or it's just a good holding position and there are no other positions. Since this is on an individual level, this is all you need. Later in the video, I will talk about team positioning, so stay tuned for that. And here, finally, we are at team macro, one of the hardest thing, if not the hardest thing in terms of skill. I'm going to struggle here, as it's hard to explain, so let me know in the comments if you have any questions. The weapons decide which role you are. In GTFO, there are currently 2 defined roles. Each has its own responsibilities in the team. You are a wave holder or a boss killer, depending what special you have. As a wave holder, you are primarily focusing on small enemies, like chargers, strikers, nightmares, shooters if there are no any others that can shoot it. In scans, you should be crouched in front. There are exceptions, and one of them is if you're low HP. You should be the person to cover the person who is reviving. As a boss killer, you are primarily focusing on big enemies, BBCs, giants, snatchers, nightmares if they're mixed enemies, shooters, scouts, or bosses. In scans, you should be the one standing behind the wave clear. Also should be the person who is reviving people. But in a given situation, when you have to do some stuff off-roll, you should definitely do it. So I'm saying not to be hard stuck on those roles. A good example is baby clear. I got babies, don't worry. A lot of special weapons are not good at killing babies. Weapons who can effectively kill babies are automatic weapons, weapons with pen, or shotguns. So, if your wave clear doesn't have a good baby clear weapon, and if your boss killer does, in some cases, when the mom births, as a boss killer, you want to help killing babies, instead of focusing on the mom. If you're a wave holder, you should definitely stagger giants if they're about to lick you from far away, and your boss killer is a short range weapon. If you have 3 wave killers, you have 1 wave killer focus on the big enemies, while the rest shoot the smalls. In the individual macro, I talked about decision making in your own situation. But what about in a team situation? Instead of keeping track of yourself, now you gotta keep track of 3 other players. This kind of complexity differentiates you from a solo player and a team player. What defines a good decision in a team setting? A good decision will be where you can survive and kill and be in a position where you can help your team at the same time. In the end, it's all about the stability of the team and not your own stability anymore. For example, you are together with your team, trying to kill a scout. Your team accidentally woke up a scout, and in that room there are tons of enemies. The scout wave spawned from behind. Now, your team is getting sandwiched from two sides. How do you play around this? If you were to play on your own, your first reaction will be to run out of the sandwich. But you're not playing solo, you are in a team. Do you just abandon the team and say, yeah, just figured it out? Wrong. Yes, staying alive is nice and all, but if your team dies, will you survive? Could be an option. But playing within the team gives you so much more potential and power than playing selfish. Think about it like this. If you were on your own, you can only do so much. 1 times 1 is still 1 person. But in a team of 4, it's just not 1 times 4. It's 4 persons. It's actually 8 persons, 16 persons, 32 persons, depending on how good you play together as a team. There are cases where a duo team can function better than a 4-man team. That's because the duo team is playing better together than a 4-man team. Don't get me wrong, I understand that you're not a selfish player and always want to help the team if you are able to. But why is it that people don't help the team? I have a simple answer to this. Awareness. People are not aware of the situation and to understand when to help the team, or they're just helping at the wrong time. Okay, Professor Honey. Thanks for your talk, but let's cut the chase. Right, yeah. So, how can you be aware of the situation to help your team? The answer may seem obvious. Remember I talked about downtime on an individual level? Downtime applies here too, on a team macro level. Here's a list of information you're looking for in a team setting. Just note that this list doesn't apply to any situation, as relevant information is different per context. You have to figure out what is relevant. The list might overlap with the individual one, but this time you have to think about the team and how to play around it. Once you gather all the information you know, you need to use the information to form a plan to deal with the situation. This time, I won't show you the right example. Let's watch an example of a bad one and how detrimental your decision making can be if you're not utilizing downtime to gather information.
Or leave it, it's fine. We'll just run here. Kill him here. It's way better. Let him run, he's close.
Shit, I'm down.
a shadow giant behind it. One dead. Okay, wait. I'll cover. He's in a corner still, the tank. That's good. We're up, we're good.
Anything coming?
I got killed. Yeah, Shadow Giant again. There's no bio threat though.
After gathering information, the next move for your decision is where do you want to position yourself in the team. You can have great individual positioning, but a horrible team position. As I said, you want to achieve both, where you're able to fight enemies and able to help your team. Let's watch some examples in a game where I gather information under downtime and make correct decisions to help myself and the team.
Bit over here.
Yeah, not bad.
This is going. PVC going to you.
Oh, sorry, I died.
Yeah, I was out the fire.
Oh,
Whoa.
alright.
I got killed, that guy.
Jeez. Bad plans.
I can't do that.
No, shut.
We're okay. Screen can't. Never mind.
Forge. Oh yeah, it's here. Smasher. Where is it? Let's see. Oh, I got it. Dead. It's dead. Targets, just tanks. Not big of a deal. I see a giant dome behind your. Here, you see. Oh shit.
Yeah.
I need the bullet.
Pick me later, I guess.
Thank you.
Shoulder. I hear it spawn out south. It smells.
Middle something.
Oh. BBC just didn't punch me.
I won't be able to
Don't know where this comes from though. Oh, I'm
That is a flyer.
I got you. Yes. Look out.
close.
Is there another?
No, I killed the other one.
Wasn't just chilling over there? What is this going?
A common situation is where your team gets sandwiched from two sides or more. You want to hold with your team here, if there's space to work with. If there are big enemies, you want a boss killer on that side. If there are small enemies, you want a wave holder on that side. Otherwise, it's better to get out together and cover each other. Once again, if you are a boss killer and there is a small wave coming and your wave holders are far or busy, you should be holding the small wave as a boss killer. Don't be limited to what I say. You should do with what you have and can, whether you are a boss killer or a wave killer. Those examples I showed you were more a general team positioning, where you are not really restricted by objectives and just fighting enemies. There are different scenarios in terms of positioning against bosses, so let me give you a few concepts about bosses and how to effectively handle them. Remember, I talked about two roles, whether you are a wave killer or a boss killer. Boss killers are going to be go on bosses. Wave killers are more in a flex position, where they can help with the boss or be a bodyguard for the boss killers. Meaning, wave killers are going to hold off the enemies and peel for the boss killers.
It's regular mine, by the way. If she comes too close and start birthing, I'll just worry about babies. Alright.
Most of the time, you should be focusing on killing enemies if they are present. Dealing against tanks as a wave killer. Scenario 1. You are going to help with the tank kill. In that instance, you will be their bitch, meaning you are just there to turn the boss around, so the other boss killer can get the shots easily. To get the boss's attention, you want to draw aggro. By shooting at them, it doesn't matter if you get white hit markers. But make sure, if you get in their lick range and it's aggroed on you, when they look at you, you want to hide behind an obstacle and wait for 2 licks. And then re-peek. Scenario 2. You are going to be defending a boss killer. As I said, you are their bodyguard. You are going to kill enemies and peel for the boss killers.
In the middle, tank in the middle.
Oh, what the fuck? This thing is rushing like crazy. Fucking hell.
Here, there's still a BBC. Send on you.
Yeah.
I'm waiting for scans at the door. South. I'll let you guys deal with the tank. It's a second tank south. near the small, it's good running in the middle.
I got it. I'm covering Zenith. It's fine.
Nice. Trio.
Trio with large fries, let's go.
Against moms, I have 3 common scenarios. Each has their own benefit. Scenario 1. The mom is burrowing far, like 50 meters away, and off cooldown. The point is to kill all the babies together, and then go for the mom. One of the safe play, and always recommended when the mom burrows far. Oh, not really just anybody.
Mom's there.
Fall back then.
She's birthing, she's...
It's fine, it's fine.
Yeah.
Oh my god, this is such a bad angle to get babies for me. Nice.
She free?
Yeah,
More
for now.
or less...
Should-
Well, yeah,
Wanna
she
go?
is now.
Let's go. Steve, you hold wave. Scenario 2. The mom is close and off CD. The point is to get close together on the mom without LOS. To kill the mom together and then kill the babies after. You can have one person on killing babies, like that is completely fine. As long there is enough firepower to kill the mom fast in one birth. I don't recommend to use this. Even if it's the fastest kill, it is also the riskiest.
We wait, we go.
She's on stream city. Oh, actually. Scenario 3. Safe mom kill. You have the majority of people focus on the babies and have someone focus on the mom, the boss killer. All of that simultaneously. Even though you need more team coordination, if the execution is right, it is safe and fast. I always recommend to use this. We should go to the BBC, we should go, we should 100%
Just
go.
rush mom, just rush mom.
We should hurl it and go. Oh, that's good. I like that. She's going here now. Nice kill. These scenarios are based on when the mom is the only enemy. But what about enemies with the mom? Well, basically, the same concept applies with the bodyguard I talked in the tank section. It's just the same thing. If you have all the 3 mom scenarios I mentioned, then add a bodyguard concept, which requires more team play and team coordination.
I trust you guys to clear this. I'm gonna go refuel on a bit of tool. And your sentry is on 80. Okay. Yeah, I should not have used mine.
Having an elevated position on the tank will make the tank kill easier, to a point where you can solo the tank. But be careful when there's a mom or a pmom, as you can trigger a burf. If someone is downed and there are no enemies nearby, or far enough to get the revive in time, you should revive. But there are cases where you can get a revive off, in situations where there are enemies, especially coming from one direction. You will need cover from this. There is a priority system here. You want a wave holder to cover you, as they have the best firepower to cover someone from smalls. If there are only bigs, then you want a boss killer covering you. You can hear when people shoot. reload. Or when you don't see them, shoot.
Okay. And Biocities,
It's good to assume that they are reloading weapons. In this case, you want to shoot to cover their reloads. In my next video, the advanced micro-macro, I will go deeper into that. When there's a scan far, an objective far, or to get into a team position.
run! Run back! Quick!
It is in your best interest to cover the person. There will always be the last person getting late into the position. This person is vulnerable to get damage. The person who should be covering is the one who is the furthest away. Everyone can cover as long as you aren't slower than the last person getting into position. Figuring out the weakest link is nice to know, as this is a threat on its own. If you know if one of your shooters is not great at shooting, you can help them. Or it's too much enemies for one person to handle. This should actually be in the advanced micro and macro guide. But I will introduce you to this, so you can start training on reading teammates. So, what do I mean by reading teammates? It is to see their intention. And their decision. So you just make an assumption what they are going to do, based on what you see. If you're able to do this, the quality of your macro decisions will skyrocket. But this also takes more mental load, as you have to do extra stuff besides gathering information. But all of that is for the next video. Having access to good comms is having access to more information, which can improve your macro. Important comms are calling out a wave of enemies and what type, calling out enemy flanks from your team's blind spot, calling out important enemy threats like BBC, tank, pmom, hybrid, snatcher, when downed, calling out what type of enemy killed you and how many you see around you. The key of giving good comms are short words that make you understand immediately.
I'm exhausted. Mute POV. Oh fuck. I fucked it up.
Well, finally, we have come to an end of the macro guide. So, some people complain about me not having an outro in the last guide. So with this, good luck and get good.